This is Small Walker here with SuperDad live in person, and we're headed to Iccc, which is a Star Wars convention down in Nashville, Tennessee. We're heading out, and we're going to be there all 4 days. We've got VIP passes, so we'll be there for the VIP day tomorrow, and then the 3 general admission days as well. I've got, I think, 10 different guests lined up that I'm looking to get autographs from. And this is actually his first ever convention. So this will be pretty interesting. And maybe it might be the best one to go to as your first one, because it's so immersive, because you're literally at the hotel that the event is at the entire time. Are there any guests from the Star Wars universe that you actually want to see while we're there?
I want to see Billy D.
Lando.
Yeah. I want to see Warwick Davis too.
Oh,
Yeah,
you got to see Wicket.
Yeah, I wanna see him. I'm excited about that.
I met him in London. He was pretty cool.
Nice.
I actually almost got ran over at one point by him too in the hallway. Are there any things in particular that you might be looking for while you're there?
No, just taking in the environment. It's gonna be something new for me. I will be getting a lot of Star Wars stuff. I know that for sure.
What kinds of items are you interested in, like artwork or figures or helmets, props?
I would like to get T-shirts, posters, helmets. I mean, look at your establishment. You got helmets galore. But overall, I'm excited because I'm going with you. So
Yeah, it'd be a fun time seeing our dynamic gaming duo in person again for once. But I'm excited to show you around there and see, how much you like it. I imagine you'll have a good time. They have everything on site at this convention, which is nice. They have this year, like I went in 2022, and they just had the in-hotel restaurant for food, but this year they'll also have a whole setup of food trucks outside the whole weekend. So you could realistically stay at the convention the whole weekend and not need to go anywhere, because they have all kinds of different restaurants rotating through in their food trucks, bar and restaurant inside at the hotel.
So what you're saying is Dad Bod 2.0 coming out. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a heavy weekend.
Yes.
We're gonna eat a lot of good food and probably drink some good beer too.
Yes.
I remember last year, or not last year, but last time I attended, it was really cool and just almost surreal to look over and see Julian Glover from Indiana Jones, from Star Wars, and from Game of Thrones. At this point, he's been in all of those, and I already liked all of those, and to see him just sitting across the restaurant drinking a beer, just chilling, chilling.
Yep.
So it's a really unique convention in that fact that it's very welcoming and homey to the guests as well. So some of the guests, you might just see them in passing in the hallway even.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
They probably call security on me because of it.
Yeah, you still have to be respectful. You still have to be respectful, but most guests, like if you get the vibe right away, if they're the kind of guests that they're willing to talk, or if they're the kind of guest that's like, sorry, I gotta go, pay for my photo op to talk to me later. But that's one nice thing about this con too, is it's a fan-oriented con. It's not put on by a big corporation. It's put on by fans. So they do their best to get the kind of guest stars that want to be there, not the ones that are there just to make money.
Right.
The ones that enjoyed the process of working on the art and now enjoy actually sharing that with the fans.
Yep.
So it'll be a good fun time.
Absolutely.
Last time I went, I ended up, you can see some of them up here, my autograph pop collection. I ended up meeting the Emperor, C-3PO, the entire Clone Wars trio of Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, the voice actors. I also met Nian Nunba there, Mike Quinn. Then I ran into him in London also. He still remembered me from the year before. So some of these guest stars are really good people and
Remember their fans.
Yeah, like some of them actually are really. I mean, they care about their work rather than just for the paycheck,
Right.
and then they care about even reminiscing and revisiting it for themselves, but also for others that weren't there. But
Good deal.
I'm excited. Also, one of the guests that I'm most excited to talk to for a second time will be Tim Rose, who played Admiral Akbar. I've got a pop that we're gonna have him sign. Um, I'm gonna try to get plenty of pictures and videos during the convention, and then, like I said, afterwards we'll kind of do a revisit and Okay, we're back from Iccc down in Nashville. It was a long and fun 4 days. We got in Thursday at around 10:45, and the VIPs were allowed in at I think noon that day, because that was VIP day. So there wasn't a second time. There's a staggered times the other days. It was a good time. It was my buddy SuperDad's first ever convention, and I'm excited to see how he felt about it. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a blast. Like I said, and before we left, I finally popped my cherry, and yeah, it's an experience that everybody who is a fan of Star Wars should go to. It's
Yeah.
The experience was unbelievable.
Well, I don't want to speak for SuperDad, but I think the convention in general is what he means was great, because
Correct.
his first ever convention, but also I think you still can see those benefits of being at the convention the whole weekend.
Yes. Yep.
Which is kind of unique to ICCC. And then there's actually there was going to be a galactic cruise this past spring, I think, and it actually got canceled. But I think Warwick was actually going to be on that as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think that hopefully they're going to try to reschedule that and do that maybe next year. That would be something fun I'd like to go to.
Absolutely.
A cruise just full of Star Wars celebrities and getting to get different autographs and different collectibles from other Star Wars fans.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. But what did you, I guess, what were you looking forward to the most going to the convention?
I would say the thing I looked forward to the most was us getting matching tattoos.
Okay. Yeah, because before we went, that was really the main attraction that we had talked about. He knew that I wanted to get some autographs for my pops. You can see I filled up the cubes back there. There's only 2 left that I need to fill up now. But SuperDad here actually got into some other stuff too. So other than the tattoos, which we'll have some pictures of in the slideshow here after the interview. What else did you get into?
So I got into getting pops as well, and getting autographs from celebrities. I just woke up one day and said, you know what?
No. How did that first one start? Because you had 0 pops going into this convention.
Oh, you're correct.
And I don't think you had very many autographs just collected.
You're right. So we got the VIP experience, and we got to do a question and answers panel with Warwick Davis, which I don't know if you guys know, but he plays in a lot of movies. He played Wicket in Star Wars. He's played Willow, Leprechaun. So we went to his question and answers panel, and at the end of it, he said, "Does anybody want a signature?" And the good idea fairy in my head said, "I do." So he said, "I'll be over here. I'll do a quick signature before I head home for the night." So I rush over to this vendor who had lots and lots of pops. And I grabbed this Wicket that got signed by Warwick Davis. He was the first celebrity I've ever gotten a signature from. And it took off from there.
Yeah, it seemed like I was witnessing an impulse moment. And I appreciated it. It was fun. And but then it was real fun the next day, because the next day, what happened?
So the next day, I decided to go all in. And what I mean by to go all in, meet all the celebrities and get autographs.
All the ones you wanted to.
All the ones that I wanted to, yes. So not only does Warwick Davis signature is very sentimental to me because he was my first celebrity to ever get a signature. There's a couple other celebrities that stuck out to me, and one of them would be Steven Constantino, and I got his signature right here. You know, down to earth dude. And like I said in the podcast that the Mocktails podcast.
Yeah, we had a short Mocktails live actually on Iccc live stage that you can check out on their page too.
Yep. And what I said on there was, you know, you get this stigma of celebrities when you see it on Hollywood, anything like that on the news. Celebrities all mad at fans, paparazzis, etc. So that was something I was hesitant on going to this convention, and that is not the experience I got. Yeah. Every single celebrity was down to earth, talked to you about personal things, and that's why Steven stuck out to me, because he was a good dude. He lives close to me. I never even realized it, and family members live right near me, and so we had a good conversation. And check out his page. He's a musician too. So
yeah, Gamorrean Sound is his username on everything.
Shout out Steven. But yeah, just it was an incredible experience.
Yeah, and I think Steven was your second pop, right?
Yes, he was my second pop. Yep.
And then from there,
so
like you got Steven's pop. Hold on, this is a good side story here, because we did also meet some really cool vendors, and the people running this pop vendor, they were really nice and really helped him out with getting into some of his first pops. Yep. And he got Steven's pop from Steven's table because Steven brings some. Yep. But he also realized that he wanted to get Mark Thompson's autograph and Timothy Zahn's, the creator of Thrawn. So then he started browsing for pops.
Yep, so I started browsing for more pops, and I ended up getting a Thrawn Diamond pop. And funny story, Mark was right next to their vendor, their table. So I grabbed the pop, walked right over to him and said, "Hey, can you sign this?" And then right next to him was Timothy Zahn, and I said, "Can you please sign this?" So I got both their signatures on the glitter Thrawn, which Mark wanted to take a video of it because he thought it was so cool.
Yeah, it's one of the rarer Thrawn pops. It's definitely one that they probably rarely actually see and sign, unless someone, you know, decides to get that one or tracks it down at one of these conventions.
Yep, so I ended up getting that, and then, like I said, it just took off. So after I got that, I went over and I got, I want to say it was Chris Parsons. He played a stormtrooper. And so I ended up getting one signed by him, and mine was the all silver edition. And he never has signed one of those. And he was like, "I want one of these." So he tried to go over to where I got the pop from, and unfortunately they were out. But he's like, "I want this. I want to keep it for myself."
And SuperDad here got the Wicket, the Thrawn, the glitter Thrawn, and then also the Chrome Stormtrooper from these new vendor friends that we met. I'm gonna make sure I tag them. I don't know if they have an Instagram, but if they do, I'll tag them. Or even I might put their website. I know that they have a website in the link in the video, so check out the links in the bottom.
Yeah, they were so good to me. They started giving me discounts because I just kept coming back, and they knew it was my first convention. You know, it was a husband and wife.
They're helpful with explaining
everything.
What the pops, like the origin of different looks with the boxes, because SuperDad here has seen my collection, but I hadn't really broke down a lot of what the packages mean or what's significant about each pop even, and what to look for if you want a certain type. And he wanted to track down the rare or the earliest releases of each character and get them signed.
Yeah, and yeah, they're it's a husband and wife business, and they just hooked me up. They kept giving me discounts because I kept coming back, and so after I got Chris Parsons to sign my pop, I then ended up finding C3PO and had Chris Bartlett. So shout out to Chris Bartlett, because once he signed mine, he started talking to me about acting and things I needed to do to become an actor. And so that's my game plan. I'm going to take his advice, and who knows, maybe I'll be on the next Star Wars.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah. And then
who was after that?
After
I know there was
I know
a
there was
couple
more.
at least.
Yeah, there was.
Was it John Deck Morton?
Yep, John Deck Morton. He signed my Bob Buffett, and
this is a cool little thing too. I got a John Deck Morton signature as well before SuperDad here, and I got the inverse color scheme of the same one that he got signed. There were some of the art series ones where Boba is either all black or all red, with the 3 kill stripes or 4 kill stripes on the front center of his helmet, either in black or red to contrast the base color, with a mythosaur on the other side. So that was kind of cool that we have similar but inverted versions of the same signature.
Yep. And then last but not least,
Was he last?
he was last. No, coming up, what I'm about to say.
Next is last?
The next one is the last one.
I didn't think he was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The last one was Mr. Tim Rose. So, backstory to this.
Well, hold on. Who is Tim Rose to those who might not recognize it right away?
He's Akbar.
Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
He also puppeteered and did some work on Salacious B. Crumb. And he's also done some work on Jabba. So he's a really cool, multi-character actor within the original trilogy and within the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, so backstory to this. The VIP day, the first day that me and Maul went in, he got his signature. And the whole time I was there, I was just listening to this dude, tell his stories. Now, mind you, Maul met him in London for the celebration of the year prior. So they started talking about, London, and then he started telling stories about what he did on set, things that happened. And I'm just looking over at his wife. Shout out to her. They've been together like 33, 34 years. And you could just see in her face like, another story. Another story. So then she looks over at me and she goes, "Are you going to get something signed too?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I'm good." Because, mind you, I wasn't going to get signatures. This was my first convention.
This was prior to that Warwick Davis VIP panel. Just prior.
Yep.
I knocked out all my autographs I had originally planned on, at least. And you'll see all mine in the slideshow. I got a ton of stuff to show off. So I thought I was done. And then we went to the VIP panel for Warwick, and then all that unfolded. So this was kind of a little inspiration
this
for
was
all that.
Inspiration. So I told her, "No, ma'am, I'm not going to." She's like, "Okay, good." And then I'm so quick-witted, I was like, "Actually, you know what? I am going to get something because I want to hear a different story." And then she looks at me and she goes, "You're trouble." And we had these pens that we put our name on, and I put SuperDad. That's my gamer tag, and then Matt as my name. And I was a distance away from her, and she tried to look at it, and she called me sun-dried Matt. And I went, sun-dried? And she's like, "I don't have my glasses on," but she did have her glasses on. So I lean over to her, and I show her, and she goes, "Oh, now I can see it. You're still sun-dried. Sun-dried Matt. You're forever going to be sun-dried Matt." So it was funny. So the whole weekend, every time she's seen me, she would wave, "Sun-dried Matt," and all that stuff. And, there's going to be another link you should post to...
Yeah, I'll post a link to their auction.
Yep, they're having an auction.
Tim Rose is having an auction coming up of, I think, a lot of set-used stuff and props. So that'd be cool. And
even though they live in the UK, they said it's worldwide, so they will ship it to wherever you are. So look for that soon. But yeah, sweet lady, funny. And so the last day is when I got the signature from Tim Rose. And sure enough, got a picture and another story.
Yeah. He's awesome. Whenever I met him at first in London, he told me 2 or 3 stories. It was the very end of the convention, and I was the last person to walk up as him and his wife were kind of. They could tell that the convention was wrapping up at that point. A lot of people were trying to get out of there, and he was still sitting down though. So I was like, I'll walk up and maybe see if I can get his autograph with my card last second, and I did. And he just kind of talked to me for 15 to 20 minutes, telling me all these stories about the origin of the bee and Salacious bee crumb. And it was just really fun, and he was one of the nicest people I met there. So I knew that after getting a Salacious crumb 8x10 while I was there, because I didn't have a pop of his like Admiral Akbar that I'd want to get signed, and a lot of the vendors had already packed up or had a lot of stuff sold. I knew going back and getting a second chance to see him that I would have to bring an Akbar pop, and I brought the newest Amazon exclusive one where he's got his commanding general, his chair that he's sitting in during the battle against the Death Star 2. And this time, he, because I told him about that, he said, well, tell me what stories I told you so that I can make sure you get some new ones.
Yeah.
So we got 2 or 3 new stories this time around. So he's a fun guy. He's one of those guys that if you were ever at a convention he's at, you should definitely take the opportunity to get his signature and just he does a photo for free with his signature too. Yeah. So that's very generous and nice of him.
Yeah, he also gave me advice on acting and stuff like that too. So
yeah, he was a nice guy.
Very nice, absolutely.
But outside of the pops, did you get anything else that you really enjoyed?
Oh yeah, what I never heard of it because obviously it's my first convention, but they did they did games that were free to the public. Finding patches, you had to do certain things. They held them at certain hours. You had to go to different vendors and try to win certain patches.
It was the patch hunt. It was put on by Star Wars Joshua. He actually I don't know how many years now, but at least the last 2 years, because I went 2 years ago and kind of saw last year from afar. He's been providing patches and pins for scavenger hunts for the con, and it's a lot of fun. The patches are actually free. There's a free hunt, and then there's also a hunt where you maybe have to purchase an item at that booth to get the patch complimentary.
All right.
But there's also the pins.
Yeah,
the pins were a lot of fun and definitely a little more difficult.
Yeah, the pins were definitely. I waited to the last day to do it. I wasn't going to do it, but I seen the struggle from everybody in the convention trying to find one certain pin, which was the C-3PO pin, and I said, you know what? To help my buddy out, I grabbed a couple randoms, and then once I bought the couple random packs and got all new ones that he already had, I said, I'm in it. I might as well complete.
I felt like you had that little. I felt like some of this was coming from. I know how competitive you are, so you were like, "Oh man, everyone's hunting for this one."
We don't talk about the competitiveness.
You wanted it too, you know. So.
Yeah.
But then once you got your toes in there, you were like, oh
yeah,
man,
once
I
my
gotta
toes,
find the rest.
Yeah, once my toes were in the little kiddie pool, I just dove right in the deep end. So
we did a lot of good trades to make sure that we both acquired all the full set of pins and the full set of patches.
Yeah,
so it worked out well for both of us.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a great experience. I got on my first ever live podcast.
Yeah, we did mocktails from the cantina.
Yep.
Kind of impromptu for a 15-minute just short session because I guess one of the other podcasts had dropped out and there was an opening for us to actually get in the slot because we hadn't got one in the lottery whenever they had applied the first time around. I am a producer on Mocktails. Chris Mocked is the host. He was actually there at the con too, and Mocktails from the Cantina is going to have a ton of good episodes and a lot of, like, I think 20 to 22 interviews with different celebrities and designers and vendors. Another good person to shout out, Artistic Lifestyles, Jeremiah Pantoja. He was the badge artist, and he also did a ton of awesome artwork on vintage Star Wars toys, on canvases, and I actually brought home. Here's a little sneak peek. You'll see the rest in the slideshow. See the legs here. When you see the rest of that, you're gonna freak out. It was awesome. I got a lot of cool autographs that I didn't even plan on. 2 of them ended up on that, and he was awesome. Me and Matt both talked to him a lot.
Yeah.
But this whole convention just brings in a lot of awesome people that are humble and cool without it being overblown and a little too big. It's still at that right size where if you haven't gotten to go, you definitely got to get there before anything happens.
Yeah,
Because it's awesome.
It was, like I said, an amazing experience, and there was no fighting, no arguing. There was no people like, hey, you're cutting the line. Everybody was cool, calm, and collected. You don't get that very often. You get people that are like, no, I was here first. They're trying to get patches at certain times, like those games. They only did a certain, number at each hour, and yeah, everybody was respectful, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and there's going to be so many cool items and different vendors that I'm going to show you guys in the slides after this, that I'm going to make sure I try to put all their information in the details of the YouTube. So, but mocktails, back to that.
Yes.
That was awesome. I was already producing the show with Chris and another producer that made the trip, Matthew Rooney. Him and Chris did all those interviews. I'm excited to see how they edit them and how many episodes they get out of that, because it was a ton of content. And then he also got a ton of cool items that he's probably going to bring back and show you guys in the Inside the Wampa Cave episodes. Mocktails is just for those that don't know, is a Patreon show. It's a Star Wars podcast that covers music and baseball also a little bit. Mostly Star Wars and Star Wars collectibles though. And there is a free live show once a month on YouTube. So that's kind of a good way to get a little trial to see if you enjoy the banter and how it is, because the live show is pretty much how the podcast goes too. Yeah. Even the recorded ones with just Chris, he likes to just have kind of a light itinerary, some bullet points to hit, but go off of what you really feel in the moment.
Yeah.
So that
wing it.
Yeah, especially when it's good conversation with guests. So I like that a lot better. So that's why I enjoyed about Chris's podcast that made me want to become a producer in the first place for it.
Yeah.
And support it. You also joined.
I did join, yep.
Right? And then as a new member and first time con goer, you got to come onto the stage and actually get interviewed about that too.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
It was fun.
Everybody, doesn't get that kind of opportunity, so it was very fun, yes.
It was fun, and the convention, I'd been trying to tell SuperDad here how it was without trying to overhype it, because it's, the cool thing about it is that it is big, but intimate and small at the same time, to where you can have a lot of fun experiences and get to meet a lot of cool actors and people from behind the scenes, toy designers like Tim Effler, who designed the Jurassic Park toy line, did the premise for that and actually influenced the entire history of Jurassic Park after that, with helping develop the logo that would carry through all the way to Jurassic World Dominion still.
That's crazy.
So I didn't know that until just a few months before the con. So once I heard that, I knew that I had to go, meet him, get something from him. I got a sweet 8x10 signed by him, and it's an 8x10 of him and Steven Spielberg after the toy pitch, holding 2 of the models, and it's cool. It's Steven right there in that time frame, just like all the behind the scenes for Jurassic Park. Looks just like that same. Looks like a behind the scenes for Jurassic Park because they're holding the dinosaurs.
It's pretty cool.
But
definitely cool.
Me and SuperDad went to his panel on the last day also, and he basically told us, the whole story of how, as a toy designer, they try to make something that they view as able to sell, fun for the kids, and also, sustainable for them so that they're not only relying on licensed properties. So that was kind of cool to hear about how some of these other brands like Nerf and Play-Doh came about, because those weren't originally licensed properties. They were toys first, and then they're becoming entertainment instead of the other way around.
The other way around, yep.
So it's kind of cool to hear about that, and to hear that some of those toy designers would just collaborate with inventors that come to them with, this is an invention, like Nerf,
Yep.
and just create something that is still going all these years later, and has gotten really crazy, and has all these collabs with Aliens and Star Wars to make their Nerf interpretations of blasters and cool plasma rifles.
That was a good panel to sit on.
Yeah, and I got a ton of good footage from that. I'm going to edit and actually post as a separate video because it's going to be long.
Yeah.
This video is going to be long, so it's going to be 2 good long videos for you guys. But SuperDad, I have one last good question for you here before, if you don't have anything else, we can wrap up.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll at least make yourself like an Instagram page that you can post some of these items that you got, so that then I can link you on a lot of this?
That's something I can think about. Yeah.
I mean, you can make
make a gaming page. Yeah.
Gaming and collectibles, just like Mal Walker. That's what my page is all about. It's about gaming, collectibles, my Star Wars fandom, Jurassic Park fandom, and I mean, I sometimes get to do cosplay. Lately, I haven't gotten to.
Yep.
But it's a fun little thing to have, even if you don't want a personal Instagram. It'd definitely be a great place for you to show off some of these collectibles you get because of the visual nature of the app.
Right. Yeah, definitely would.
Yeah, but, well, other than that...
Yep, thank you for having me, and make sure you subscribe to Mal Walker's YouTube channel, his gaming channel off Facebook. Mine is Crazy War Veteran.
Yep.
See you next time.
Yeah, see you guys.